Okay, welcome.
Thank
Whenever
you.
guys
Thank you,
want.
Jenna.
No problem.
So my name is Brett Jones, and I am an attorney with Lazar and Schwartz in Dutchess County, and we handle all family law and divorce-related actions and issues. And I am the co-chair for the executive committee for the Hudson Valley Collaborative Divorce and Dispute Resolution Association. And we're going to talk to you today a little bit about what the collaborative divorce process is. We're going to hit some nuts and bolts and explain to you what the advantages are for the process. And I'm here with Wayne Quint and Mickey McWade, who are also trained collaborative divorce professionals. And I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. So Mickey.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I am working with Brett and other attorneys on in collaborative divorce cases. My role is as a collaborative divorce coach or mental health professional team member, as we all work in a team, which I'm sure Brett will describe. So I'm also a clinical social worker and psychotherapist, but my favorite work is collaborative divorce work.
Thank you, Mickey. Wayne?
Good morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Wayne Quint. I'm a certified financial planner. My role is typically as a financial neutral. So I am a CFP. I'm also a registered investment advisor and a New York State licensed life and accident and health insurance agent. So bring it back to you, Brett.
Thank you. And the reason that Wayne and Mickey are joining me to present about the collaborative divorce process is because it's an interdisciplinary divorce process. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. But just as a way of introduction, prior to the pandemic, a litigated divorce case took on average 18 to 36 months to complete in court, and the cost was often more than $20,000 or $25,000 per litigant. Post-pandemic, certainly we estimate that the length of time that a case is going to be able to get through the court system, given the unprecedented backlog that we are about to face once the court systems open, is going to be substantially greater, and therefore a substantially greater cost. Collaborative divorce, the collaborative divorce process, is an alternative divorce option to litigation. Not only is it much faster, but it's also much less expensive, and it has other advantages to the litigation process at all times, not even in the face of what we're looking at in the court system in the future. On average, a collaborative case takes 6 to 12 months and costs each litigant on average $10,000 to $12,000. That's what we've found in our office. And so what is the collaborative divorce process? It is a private out-of-court process where each party has their own collaboratively trained attorney, and there is a team of collaboratively trained professionals for each couple that assists them in reorganizing the family, negotiating a legally binding separation agreement, and this occurs through a series of meetings that we have. The same stages, I call them stages, the same stages take place in the collaborative process as takes place in a litigation. We have information gathering, information organization and analysis of all the financial data, and settlement negotiations. And we do this, though, in the collaborative process through what's called interest-based negotiations, as to compared to litigation where it's just based on positions. The primary objective in a collaborative process is to attain a separation agreement or other marital agreement, which meets with each party's priorities and interests and addresses their concerns about their future, about their children, and of course, promotes the well-being of their children. And this is what often leads to the most long-lasting and enduring solution and the most satisfying outcome for spouses, couples, and families. Now, we've also used this process not only for divorce, but we've also used the collaborative process for people to prepare prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, estate planning issues to protect children of the first marriage in the remarriage situation, and also other family law issues, custody issues, support issues, and there's a whole civil litigation component as well, but we're not going to talk about that today. So given that this is an interdisciplinary process, the professional team includes an attorney, a collaboratively trained attorney for each spouse, a financial neutral professional, and a mental health professional. If there are some more complicated issues related to children, we could bring in a collaboratively trained child specialist. And of course, we always can bring in, and we do, bring in other professionals on an as-needed basis. Appraisers, business valuators, trust attorneys, if we have complicated tax issues, whatever issues we have to address in order to come up with the best solutions for this family, for the financial issues of this family or issues related to the children, then we will do that. And so just let's touch briefly upon a few of the advantages of the collaborative process. We already talked about the fact that it is faster and less expensive than litigation, but there are some others that are important to point out, which is that in this process, this couple going through one of the most difficult events, transitions that they can probably in their lives, they have people to turn to immediately to keep the issues contained, to de-escalate the situation, and to provide support and guidance to each spouse, to the couple as parents, throughout this entire process. We have professionals involved to address the issues that they're best suited for, attorneys to address the legal issues and advocate for their clients and negotiate solutions, financial neutrals to collect and organize the financial data, mental health professionals to work with the couple to design the best parenting plan for their family and their children, and to manage the emotions of each spouse as they go through this process, and to facilitate the entire process. So we can also, in this collaborative process, work on issues that the courts would have no interest in hearing about in any way. So, for example, we can address issues related to older children. We could address issues for special needs children, children over the age of 21. We can address inheritance and estate issues. And so those are just a few of the advantages of the collaborative process. So while it's not a perfect solution, it certainly is the best solution that we could provide to couples and families looking to get divorced or address other family-related issues. So we also want to just explain a little bit about each of the professional roles in this process. So Mickey, who introduced herself, she is a mental health professional, collaboratively trained for many, many years. And so Mickey, if you could just share with everyone a little bit about what your role as the coach in the collaborative divorce process is.
Sure, I'd be happy to. The thing that is so true about divorce is that it's so much more than a legal issue. And so it's helpful to have a collaborative divorce coach involved in the cases, because we cover more of the family crisis than the legal team can. So the first thing I would say for the coach's responsibility is to prepare the clients for negotiation. And coaches work with the clients before, during the negotiation itself, and after, to help them manage the emotions and the volatility of the situation. which is often present in these cases. But having a coach on board really does reduce that. And if something should come up, then as mental health professionals, we're trained to handle a situation like that. And yesterday I was managing a case, coaching on a case, and I saw the wife getting very upset, and I was able to, on Zoom, of course, and I was able to text her and ask her if she needed a break and so forth. And we called a break, and I had a little phone call with her outside to calm her down. And we went back to the session within 5 minutes, and everything went very smoothly. So that's just one example. And then also as a coach, I check in afterwards to be sure that people are okay and if they feel like they had enough support. So that's client-based. And then the coach also will support the attorneys and the financial professional if necessary. Sometimes the dynamics become heated or frustrated, and so the coach will help with that. And also to help the non-mental health people understand the couple dynamics and the personalities of the people. Obviously, we look at things from a different lens than everyone else does, and often have more depth just because that's our training and we listen for those things. So we help the team, the attorneys particularly. And then, as I said, we help manage the meeting itself, even on Zoom, to try to keep things going. My biggest role, I feel, personally, is that I try to head off damage to the family. I try to support both sides, have both husband and wife or partners understand the other one better, knowing what's normal going through divorce, that things pass, and to be in better shape afterwards than if they were in a real fight. Because the family will go on, even if there's a divorce. Mom will still be mom, dad will still be dad. Of course, the children will still be children, their children. And so they will have to function as a family. And I try to remind people of that frequently. Don't make anything worse at this point. And the last point I'll make is that the coaches help reduce fear and normalize things for the couple, which is really important. It's if they feel out of control or like they're not getting anywhere, the coaches will help normalize and point out the progress and that they are getting someplace and things are getting accomplished. I said the last thing, I have one more. The other thing is I have a specialty, and I think it's really important in kids 18 to 25 as they go through the divorce. They're still very young. The court does not talk about them. They are out of agreements unless the parents choose to do otherwise. But they're still very at a point where they're trying to establish independence. Then the rug's kind of pulled out from under them. And parents, there's a lot parents can do about that if they're aware. So I just wanted to mention that. That's really an important piece if the children are in the 18 to 25 category approximately. So it's a team approach is really the holistic way to go, I think, the best way. So I will turn this back over to you, Brett.
Thank you, Mickey. And Mickey, I just want also for us to point out for people that in the collaborative process, we can also, and you and I have had experience on at least one case with this where there were concerns about alcohol abuse, issues like that. We do have the capacity, and probably greater capacity in the collaborative process than in a litigation setting, to address those kinds of issues. Can you just touch on that briefly, how we can go about doing that in the collaborative process?
Sure. Thanks for the reminder. So often, if there's an alcohol situation, there's denial on the part of the person who drinks and the concern of the other parent when the drinking parent has the children. That's a very scary situation for the other parent. And so we do have ways to address it. The person who is the drinker does not have to claim to be an alcoholic, but what we will do is put intervention in place where we use SoberLink or one of the devices where the person can assure the other parent that they are not drinking when they have the children, for example. And if the person who is drinking needs a consult, I can help with that, and most mental health people can, and also help the person who's really worried about it and trying to control the alcohol consumption. So there's a lot of intervention that's helpful, and that's where people get stuck often, is that the non-drinking parent is really worried about the drinking parent having the children by themselves. So thanks for mentioning that.
Yes, thank you, Mickey. And Wayne, now, if we could turn to you, if you could just share with us as a collaboratively trained financial neutral professional, what your role is in the collaborative process.
Sure. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Mickey. So the first thing that I typically do is I'm tasked with gathering data, as Brett had said, and that's literally going through everything: tax returns, bank statements, investment account statements, looking at debt. I'm essentially piecing together the financial picture for all the other professionals, creating the net worth statement, the property statement. And again, my job as a neutral is I'm there for both parties. So there's a lot of different situations that come up, whether it's dealing with a business owner and valuation issues. Maybe we're in a single breadwinner situation and you have a spouse that has no idea what the financial picture looks like. They never had to come up with a budget, balance a checkbook. And back to what Mickey said, that word fear, it's my job to help alleviate that fear for that spouse and that couple and that family as a whole, painting the financial picture of what is the family's current spending habits, their assets, their liabilities, their income, their expenses, what are projected post-marriage budgets, what does that look like? Doing some hand-holding if needed and helping someone come up with a post-marriage budget if they've never had to deal with those things. Helping somebody understand that there's a difference, a major difference between $100,000 in equity in a home and $100,000 in a pre-tax IRA or a 401k, and the fact that that retirement account is not tax impacted. So trying to help extract the emotion out of this situation and help somebody look at the financial aspect of things in a more binary and black and white manner. We also have an expertise in health insurance. A lot of times it's default to just, well, we'll just do COBRA. Well, it's a whole new world because of the Affordable Care Act, and that's changing on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis with different legislation that's passed. So helping clients figure out what's the best thing to do. Do we do COBRA? Do we go to the exchange? Do we do Child Health Plus for the kids? So there's a lot that goes into the financial impact of things. A lot of times we get pulled in on the back end to work with the attorneys to help come up with different settlement package scenarios. But what's great is, as Mickey has said, and as Brett have said, it's a lot. If something's in the courts, it's not confidential, okay? Everything that we do in the collaborative process is confidential. We've worked on a lot of high profile cases locally, and we can come up with as amicable a separation as possible, given the situation, given the cards that everyone's dealt with. And the other thing that everyone should understand is it might on a more macro level seem like, wow, this just sounds really expensive because there's so many parties involved. But when you look at the fact that we all have different specialties, at the end of the day, your clients are not going to be paying paying an attorney to do the financial work. My fees are different than an attorney's work would be. And likewise, attorneys, you're not going to have to come up with a parenting plan, deal with the therapy issues and things like that. And your clients are ultimately paying a different fee schedule for the mental health professionals as well. So just to satiate any concerns as far as that, well, there's a lot more parties involved. Because we all have our own specialties, we're extremely efficient in what we do. I myself, I use family law software, which the attorneys typically use as well. So we can share files. It's easier to come up with settlement packages. That way we can run many different scenarios. But my role is really, and I personally, I also have a master's degree in psychology. So I use a lot of those skills in what I do as well. So I bring the financial aspect as well as the psychology aspect to every single case. And we've seen it all, let me tell you. But I can do the hand holding that the attorneys might not want to do, and do that little extra granular analysis for clients and save time.
Thank you so much for that, Wayne. And so as my role as the attorney, I do get this question often about people's stereotypes about the collaborative divorce process. But the fact is that our role as attorneys in the collaborative divorce process really is no different than in litigation or any other divorce process. We are in this process to advocate for our clients, to examine all of the data, to advise our clients on the law, to advise our clients on financial solutions, to review parenting choices with them once they've worked with the coach, and to draft the separation agreement. But the primary difference with my role in collaborative as compared to litigation is the collaborative process requires of all of the professionals and the parties that it is at all times a respectful, transparent process, and that everybody is working in good faith at all times. Frankly, that's no different than how I proceed in litigation, but the collaborative process requires those tenets, those pillars at all stages of this process. So we just have a few minutes before our time is up. I just wanted to just very, very briefly describe what this process looks like in a nutshell, just to summarize it. So as I said, it is a series of meetings. At the very beginning, once the couple each have their own collaboratively trained attorneys, we select the financial neutral and the mental health coach, who often will meet with the couple before the first meeting. We will have a first full meeting with the attorneys, the couple, and the mental health professional. At that time, they will commit to the collaborative process. We will select valuation dates. We can address at that time any immediate temporary issues. We can make temporary agreements about cash flow, support, parenting issues, whatever immediate issues, we can address them at one meeting, or maybe it might take 2 meetings. But we address all those things right up front or as the process goes along, rather than people having to go to court and make applications that take months and months and substantial sums of money to receive some disposition from the court. The couple then meets with the financial neutral. That usually just takes a matter of weeks. And when that's over, there are financial reports generated that we all review at a meeting. It's called a 6-way meeting for the couple, the attorneys, the financial neutral, and the coach. And that is where we continue to clarify all of the assets, the cash flow, support issues. We examine all the data, and we continue to bring in any other experts that are needed. At the same time, the couple is on a separate dual track, working with the coach to start looking at parenting issues, start designing a parenting plan that's going to work best for everybody. The coaches and the attorneys will meet separately with each couple to develop a list of their primary interests and goals and concerns in a final solution. And then we will all meet together to go over each couple's primary concerns, interests, and goals and see where they have a lot of overlap. And most of the time they do. And then we schedule a series of additional meetings to start developing solutions to dispose of their property, address support issues, and finalize all of the parenting plans. And ultimately, we draft a separation agreement. And then depending on how the clients want to proceed, we can then also proceed with the divorce. So if anybody has a client or somebody they know that is considering a divorce, or their spouse has come to them and is considering divorce, the best advice you can give them is to speak to a collaboratively trained professional. Because by getting them to a collaboratively trained professional early on, that is what is going to set that client up, that family up, for the best possible chance of success and the best possible chance of a satisfactory divorce solution or family or any other family issue solution. So Wayne, if you would mind just giving our website address for the Hudson Valley Collaborative Divorce Association.
It's explore.collabdivorce-ny.com.
And we want to thank everybody who has participated. I want to really thank Wayne and Mickey for helping to give this presentation on the collaborative divorce process. And our information will be with the recording, our own individual websites and email addresses and contact information. Mickey, Wayne, do you guys have any final thoughts to share?
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you